Welcome to Cupid's Corner, where love stories come alive. Whether you're a hopeless romantic or just looking for a touch of warmth in your day, you've come to the right place. Sit back, relax, and let the tales of romance sweep you off your feet.
Love in the Mud. The annual Mud Festival in Clementon transformed the normally quiet town into a vibrant hub of laughter, cheers, and the unmistakable squelch of mud underfoot. Colorful banners fluttered in the light breeze, and the air was thick with the scent of fried food and excitement. Families, friends, and strangers alike gathered, ready to embrace the messiness that the festival promised. Lily stood at the edge of the mud pit, her pristine white sneakers already splattered with brown goo. She grimaced, feeling more like a fish out of water than a participant. "Why did I let them talk me into this?" she muttered under her breath, glancing around at her friends who were already diving into the mud with reckless abandon. "Come on, Lily. It's just a little mud." Sarah, her best friend, called out, her voice bubbling with laughter. "Easy for you to say." Lily shot back, shaking her head. She took a cautious step back, her heart racing. Just as she turned to leave, her feet slipped out from under her, and she fell face first into the mud with a resounding splash. Ugh! Lily groaned, the cold muck oozing into her clothes. She wiped her face with the back of her hand, only to smear mud further across her cheeks. "This is exactly what I needed," she grumbled, half laughing at her own misfortune. "Need a hand?" A voice cut through her embarrassment, playful and warm. She looked up to see a guy with tousled hair and a mischievous grin, his own face splattered with mud, making him look like a charming mess. Yeah. That would be great," Lily replied, taking his outstretched hand. He pulled her up effortlessly, and she stumbled slightly, catching her balance just in time. "Jake," he introduced himself, still grinning. "First time at the Mud Festival?" "Is it that obvious?" Lily asked, glancing down at her mud-covered clothes, her heart racing for reasons she didn't quite understand. "Just a bit." Jake chuckled, his laughter ringing like music in the chaos around them. "But don't worry, you'll get the hang of it." As the day wore on, Lily found herself surprisingly drawn into the festivities. Jake showed her the tricks of sliding down the mud ramps, their laughter echoing over the cheers of the crowd. "You have to lean back a little more," he advised, demonstrating with a dramatic whoosh as he slid down a slope, mud flying everywhere. "Like this?" Lily copied him, and with a shriek, she slid down, landing with a thud that set mud splattering up like a fountain. "Perfect!" Jake shouted, giving her a thumbs up, his laughter infectious. They competed in mud tug-of-war, their team barely eking out a victory, and every time they fell into the pit, they burst into fits of giggles. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, Jake and Lily found themselves on a bench, watching the festivities wind down. The air was thick with laughter and the remnants of joyful chaos. Lily felt a warmth in her chest that had nothing to do with the sun's rays. "You know," Jake said, turning to her, "I think you might be the only person who looks cute covered in mud." Lily felt her cheeks flush, grateful for the camouflage the mud provided. "Thanks, I think," she replied, a shy smile creeping onto her face. Jake leaned in closer, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "How about we clean up and grab some dinner? I know a great place nearby." "Dinner sounds nice," Lily replied, her heart fluttering as she felt the connection between them deepen. "Great," Jake said, standing up and offering her his hand. She took it, and they walked away from the mud pit, hand in hand, both of them still chuckling and glancing back at the chaos they were leaving behind. "I can't believe I actually enjoyed that," Lily admitted as they walked along the path, the sun dipping below the horizon. "See? Mud has its perks," Jake said, nudging her playfully. "And I have a feeling it's only going to get better from here." As they reached a small, cozy diner, the warm glow of the sign welcomed them. The clatter of dishes and the rich aroma of comfort food filled the air. Jake held the door open, and Lily stepped in, the bell above jingling cheerfully. "Welcome," the waitress greeted, her smile bright. "Table for two?" "Yes, please," Jake replied, leading Lily to a booth in the corner. They slid into the seat, the laughter of the festival fading into the background. "So, Lily, what do you do when you're not getting muddy?" Jake asked, leaning forward, his eyes sparkling with curiosity. "I'm a graphic designer," she said, her confidence growing. "I spend most of my time in front of a computer screen, so this was a big leap for me." "Really? That sounds interesting. Do you like it?" Jake asked, genuinely engaged. "I do, most days. But sometimes it feels like I'm stuck in a bubble, you know? It's nice to break out of it, even if it means getting filthy." She laughed, remembering her earlier reluctance. "Breaking out of bubbles is the best," Jake agreed, his expression thoughtful. "I'm a mechanic. I love working with my hands, getting dirty in a different way." "Sounds like we both have messy jobs," Lily joked, her heart warming at the thought of their shared experiences. "Speaking of dirty," Jake said, his eyes glinting with mischief, "I think we need to take a picture to commemorate our first mud festival together." "Oh no!" Lily protested, her cheeks heating up again. "I'm a complete mess." "Exactly. It's perfect." Jake pulled out his phone, and before she could protest further, he leaned in close, their faces nearly touching. The camera clicked, capturing their mud-covered grins. "See? Cute." Lily couldn't help but laugh, the sound bubbling up from deep within her. "Okay, fine. But you're posting that on your social media, and I'm tagging you." "Deal." Jake replied, his laughter mingling with hers. As they waited for their food, the conversation flowed effortlessly. They shared stories about their lives, their dreams, and even their fears. Each moment felt electric, and the connection grew deeper. "Jake, can I ask you something?" Lily said, her tone shifting slightly. "Sure." "Anything," he encouraged, leaning back to give her his full attention. "Why do you come to the Mud Festival every year?" she asked, genuine curiosity in her voice. Jake's expression softened. "It reminds me of simpler times, you know? Just being with friends, having fun, getting messy. It's a break from reality. Plus, I love seeing new faces and making friends." Lily nodded, understanding his sentiment. "I get that. Sometimes it's easy to forget how to have fun when life gets too serious." "Exactly," he said, his gaze steady on her. "And I think it's cool that you stepped out of your comfort zone this year. Not everyone would do that." "Thanks," Lily said, her heart swelling with gratitude. "I guess I needed a little push." Their food arrived, steaming and delicious, and they dove into the meal, their laughter ringing out as they shared fries and swapped bites of burgers. Every moment felt like a treasure, and as they talked, the world outside faded into a blur, leaving just the two of them in their little bubble of happiness. "Hey, you know what would be fun?" Jake said, wiping a bit of ketchup from the corner of his mouth with a napkin. "Let's go back to the mud pit after this. I know it's winding down, but we can still have a little fun." "Are you serious?" Lily laughed, the idea both ridiculous and thrilling. "Absolutely. Come on, it'll be like our own private festival. We can slide, roll around, whatever," he urged, his enthusiasm contagious. Lily felt a rush of excitement. "You know what? Why not? Let's do it." After finishing their meal, they headed back to the mud pit, the remnants of the festival still alive around them. The last few stragglers were enjoying the fading sunlight, squeals of laughter punctuating the air. With a playful shove, Jake set Lily into the mud, and she squealed in surprise. "Hey!" "No fair," she laughed, standing up and throwing a handful of mud at him. "Now we're talking." Jake replied, dodging her attack and retaliating with a splash of mud that hit her square in the chest. The two of them became lost in a playful battle, their laughter echoing as they slipped and slid around the pit. It was as if the world had faded away, and they were the only two people left, caught in a whirlwind of joy and freedom. Eventually, they collapsed onto the ground, breathless and covered in mud, looking up at the stars beginning to twinkle in the evening sky. "That was the most fun I've had in ages," Lily admitted, her heart pounding, not just from the exertion but from the thrill of being with Jake. "I'm glad you came," Jake said softly, turning to face her, his expression serious but warm. "I really like you, Lily." Lily's heart raced at his words. "I like you too, Jake." He smiled, and she felt a warmth spread through her, something precious and new. "So, what now?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Lily hesitated for just a moment, then leaned in, her heart racing. Their lips met softly, a gentle brush of mud and warmth, and it felt just right. In that moment, the world around them faded even further away, leaving just the two of them, wrapped in the magic of the night. As they pulled back, both slightly breathless, Jake grinned at her. "You know, I think this mud might be a good luck charm." "Maybe it is," Lily laughed, the sound bright and full of promise. "But I think it's you." Jake chuckled, shaking his head. "Well, either way, I'm glad we found each other in the mud." With the stars twinkling overhead and the laughter of the festival fading into the distance, Lily knew that this was just the beginning of something beautiful. She had stepped out of her comfort zone, gotten messy, and found more than just fun. She had found a connection that felt like home. And perhaps, just perhaps, love in the mud wasn't so messy after all.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the story, be sure to click on the bell for more heartfelt tales. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Let's spread the love, because everyone deserves a bit of romance in their life.